This is Point of Blue, and I am man Rodney Blu, also known as Blue from the Grove. The Cowboys looked good last night. I mean, considering that none of the starters played, it was all backups, but they look good. I was kind of disappointed with Bartell because, well, the announcer said that he looked like he had been spending a little time with Brad Johnson. And I feel like maybe he was spending a little too much time like Brad Johnson. That's really got me worried because, look, when the Cowboys first got Brad, I was all on board, Hey, we got this veteran to back up Romo in case anything goes wrong. No animosity. He knows his role. It's a good situation for everybody involved, right? Yeah, right. That's what I thought, too. Until I saw him throw a pass. Brad Johnson throws these rainbow arc passes with all this air up under him, just begging to be picked off before they even get close to the receiver he's throwing to. And I saw Bartell throwing the same way. But my main problem with Bartell is that he's not Matt Moore. Matt Moore was a guy that the Cowboys had on their practice squad, and he was a young quarterback last year, and I believe the year before that. Some kind of way they let him get away from here, and I knew another team would pick him up because Matt Moore looks good. Matt Moore can throw the ball hard, and he has a very good presence in the pocket. I really felt, how can I put this gently? I felt like the Cowboys really didn't know what they had when they let Matt Moore go. I also felt the same way when they kept Jock Reeves around, him and Nate Jones, those two scrubs. So I'm glad both of those guys are gone. It looks like our secondary is going to be a lot better because of it, but still, the scheme that Dave Campo run, or more importantly, the scheme that the Cowboys run, leaves wide receivers open all game long. I don't know why they're so invested in this zone. I don't know, we talked about this before. You got a guy like Pat, man, if he's more comfortable playing a man-to-man and he's good at it, then you have to incorporate some man-to-man schemes into your defense. I hate that zone thing. I guess that's the problem because, see, what happens is our cornerbacks release way too early to the safeties. And in the past, Roy Williams took all the blame for that. But I really don't think it's all Roy's fault when you got a supposedly shut-down corner, Terrence Newman, only trotting half of the route with the wide receiver before he break it off and just start looking back at the quarterback or looking at the flats, whatever he's looking at. The ball sails over his head, and there's Roy Williams down there. I don't know how many safeties could be successful in a scheme like that, where the cornerbacks release way too early, looking back at the flat or at a screen pass that never comes, and then the safety is there worried about the running back coming out of the backfield or the tight end breaking off into a play, or that wide receiver that's streaking up the sideline that the cornerback just let go. Oh, man, it's crazy. But anyway, hopefully the Cowboys will figure that out and they won't be so in love with that zone defense to the point where they can't be effective, because I'm telling you, we can't stop anybody, and that's the reason why. I said I was going to stop saying we. The Cowboys can't stop anybody, and that's the reason why. We've been able to outscore a lot of our opponents. We've been able to get some really good bounces with the ball. And we won some games. But I'm telling you, we cannot go into this season with that same porous defense. We have to have a monster, a rover, a little bit more creativity, leeway, freedom, chain, rope, whatever you want to call it. Whatever's going to allow our defensive players to make plays. Do not sit down in this zone to please your coaches when you're leaving wide receivers open to run button hooks all the way down the field. Don't do yourself like that. Don't do your team like that. Like I said, I think that's the real reason why Roy Williams wasn't comfortable with Dave Campo coming back, because that's Dave Campo's defense, and I don't like it at all. It reminds me of that old bend but don't break doo-doo that we used to run back in the day, and that was ugly, and it didn't work then. We'll go ahead and give it to you. We'll let you dink and dunk us all the way down here. Then by some wonderful way, we'll stop you or limit you to a field goal. And that works for the most part of the time. And look, I feel real uncomfortable criticizing a team that went 13-3 last year. You cannot deny the fact that these guys are good. But I'm also letting you know that other teams watch tape. And it's a well-known fact that you can pass on these Dallas Cowboys. It's a well-known fact that you can run up the field almost unaccosted on these Dallas Cowboys, and that's going to have to change. You can't keep blaming the defensive line for applying enough pressure. You can't keep blaming the linebackers for not covering people, not blitzing, not doing this, not doing that. We can't keep blaming Roy Williams. You know, I can't keep blaming Jock Reeves and Nate Jones because neither one of those scrubs are here, and I'm glad. But the main thing is we have to look at the scheme. What's the scheme? Is that the reason why teams are able to pass on us? So we'll find out, because we have definitely upgraded the cornerback position on all levels, and I'm glad to see that. Even Oglesby and Ball, they both look good too, and I hope there's room for them on this roster. But the main thing we have to do is decide how we're going to stop teams from passing on us. And I hope Tony Curtis continues to get plays, because he's a playmaker. You know, sometimes I wonder if they see what we see. But I remember my cousin Big O used to always tell me, you don't see what he see, talking about Emmitt Smith. We used to call Emmitt by another name, nothing derogatory, we just had a different nickname for him. And I won't mention it here, but we'll just call him Smitty. It was something that sounded like Smitty, but had more to do with something else. But anyway, he tell me, you don't see what Smitty see? You don't see what Smitty see. And that's true. You know, you don't see what a lot of times an on-track quarterback will say, he should have cut right, he should have cut left. But we don't see what they see. And sometimes I wonder if the coaching staff sees what we see. Like our special teams. Is the special teams defense really that bad? Or is the special teams coach really that bad? I mean, sometimes you got to look at those things. But these people get so close to the individuals within the organization that sometimes I don't think they're able to see for looking. For instance, Mark Cuban said that Donnie Nelson has a job with him, a lifetime job with him. He never has run the Mavericks without Donnie Nelson. And I think that's absolutely terrible. I think Donnie should have been given his walking papers years ago. We won't go off into the Mavericks today. I like the Mavericks. I'm passionate about the Mavericks. And I have a lot of opinions about them. But we won't go into that right now. Today is the Cowboys' day. They're cutting down to the 53-man roster. And we're going to see who stays and who goes. A couple of guys made an impression last night. And I hope it wasn't too little too late. I am Rodney Blu. And this is Point of Blue. Thanks for joining me.